We are live for the second straight emergency podcast, 2 days in a row. Haven't done many live streams this season. Now I'm doing twice in 2 days. This one is most certainly deeming the live stream treatment. I'm going to go live here on Twitter as well because we have some major breaking news here per the Associated Press. The WNBA is poised to expand to 18 teams over the next 5 years, with Cleveland, Philadelphia, and for the purposes of this podcast and for this report, to Detroit by 2030. Now, this is by Doug Feinberg in the Associated Press. Cleveland is going to begin playing 2028, so they'll be the first franchise implemented into the league. Detroit is going to be coming back in 2029. So it is confirmed that in the next 4 years, Detroit will be back in the WNBA, and Philadelphia is going to be in the season after. So it looks like this is going to assume that they get approved by the NBA and WNBA Board of Governors. However, if this is getting officially announced with a statement, by the way, from the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, that we will get to in a second, this is as official as it gets. This is a massive piece of news. This is a great day for Detroit basketball, especially for Detroit women's basketball. This is something that Detroit basketball hasn't really felt whole ever since the Shock left in 2009 for Tulsa. And it was a damn shame. I mean, Detroit was one of the most storied franchises in the WNBA for attendance in the WNBA. For a lot of years, the Shock was near the top and was one of the franchises truly representing in that area. So for them to, lose the team in the first place was just a travesty. And it was never a matter of if, but a matter of when the WNBA was going to come back to Detroit. Adam Silver, I believe, even said something similar as well about the WNBA needing to be back in the city of Detroit. And now we do truly get to see that going forward as soon as 2029. So that is extremely exciting. I do want to read that statement from the commissioner of the WNBA, which says, "The demand for women's basketball has never been higher. We are thrilled to welcome Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia to the WNBA family. This historic expansion is a powerful reflection of our league's extraordinary momentum, the depth of talent across the game, and the surging demand for investment in women's professional basketball." Now, apparently, each franchise has already paid the expansion fee, which is apparently $250 million. Which, by the way, just to show the growth of the WNBA, like, if you want to call it the Caitlin Clark effect, if you want to just call it the boom of women's basketball, just a few years ago, Golden State, per this article, for the same expansion fee, paid $50 million. Just a few years later, the Valkyries are now in the league. It is now $250 million to buy an expansion slot, compared to $50 million just a few years ago. That is how much growth we're talking about in the rise of valuations in the WNBA world. That is where it's at. Now, we do also know that per the bid that was put together by Detroit just a few months ago. By the way, the group that came together to bid to bring basketball back to the city of Detroit was a really impressive bid. It included people such as Sheila Ford Hamp, Jared Goff, Chris Webber, Grant Hill, Jalen Rose, Tom Gores. It was essentially like the Avengers of Detroit sports, all united to ensure that women's basketball was going to come back. And part of this plan, not only did we see the Detroit Shock, were they going to have their own practice facility, there's also going to be like a community facility that's going to act essentially as like a community hub, like a place where people go, like like can go and play sports. So this is something that's not only going to be a great asset for, Detroit sports, but this is something that's poised to be a great asset for the community. They're going to have their own facilities. They're going to, come in and have a big impact right away. We do also have a statement here from Tom Gores, and I do find that really important to read. This is from Gores, quote, "This is a huge win for Detroit and the WNBA. Today marks the long hoped for return of the WNBA to a city with deep basketball roots and a championship tradition. Detroit played a key role in the league's early growth, and we're proud to reignite that legacy as the WNBA ascends to new heights. Our plans will bring new energy, investment, and infrastructure to our city in the WNBA and additional resources to our community." Now, we don't know for sure that the Detroit Shock name is coming back. In fact, I think that there might be some uphill battles as far as for, the trademark of that name. There might be some things in order for that name to come back. However, I don't want to be overreacting. I don't want to read too much into things. But I do want to point out that he did throw in some Shock-esque terms such as, let me read this statement again. "This is a huge win for Detroit WNBA. Today marks a long hope for return of the WNBA to a city with deep basketball roots and a championship tradition. Detroit played a key role in this league's early growth, and we're proud to reignite the Shock, that legacy as the WNBA ascends to new heights. Our plans will bring new energy. Energy? Yeah, maybe be reading into it a little too much. Bring new energy, investment, and infrastructure to our city and the WNBA, and additional resources to our community." Again, as said before, we had people such as Grant Hill, Chris Webber, another person I forgot to throw in there. I believe I might have said them earlier, but Jared Goff was a part of that bid as well. And so they're going to play in Little Caesars Arena. The arena is already intact, already downtown. They're going to play right there in 2029. So, and this is the crazy thing is there were a long list of teams and cities that put together some pretty viable bids for WNBA franchises. So teams that are not included in this bid are teams such as, or cities such as St. Louis, Kansas City put in a bid and didn't get it. Austin, Texas put in a bid. Nashville, perhaps most notably Tennessee, is the one that didn't get it because I believe that bid, I believe Candace Parker was pretty heavily involved in that ownership group. I believe that was going to have, I believe the plan was for the team to be heavily honoring Pat Summitt and, her great career in Tennessee and one of the greatest women's basketball, careers of all time. But instead, thankfully, for the city of Detroit, they did not win that bid. Another team, Houston, they put in a bid. Miami, Denver, and Charlotte, all places that put in bids to have a WNBA franchise. I mean, the demand being this high, the amount of bids being put in is just insane. But the fact that Detroit was prioritized and the fact that the effort was put in place by the organization, the WNBA has officially awarded an expansion franchise to the city of Detroit. So there's actually a clip here as well from the WNBA commissioner making the official announcement. Our guy Tom posted that here. So I do want to take a quick second and just show that, just because this is such a historical moment. Let me get my headphones on real quick and then we'll go ahead and give this a listen. This is the commissioner of the WNBA officially announcing that the city of Detroit has been awarded an expansion team. Let's play it.
So it is my honor to officially announce that the WNBA is expanding from our currently announced 15 teams to 18 teams over the next few years. So on behalf of the entire WNBA, I'm thrilled to welcome Cleveland and Detroit back, and to welcome Philadelphia officially to the WNBA.
There's Arn Tellem right there, representing the Detroit group on the stage, as Detroit has officially been awarded with an expansion franchise and a return to the WNBA. Again, just a massive day for Detroit basketball, for Detroit sports. Detroit basketball has fully returned to the city of Detroit. And listen, there's still a long road ahead. There's the official approval that has to be taken in place. There's still the official logistics of the name of the organization. And there's obviously still going to be a lot of decisions to be made about about who's going to be put in place. However, simply put, this is a massive win for the city of Detroit and for Detroit basketball fans everywhere. So I do want to read real quick before we go. This is from the official press release from the WNBA. I do want to read the excerpt about the Detroit expansion team so that we have all the info here that we can have. So this is from the WNBA's official communications Twitter. They put out the press statement. This is about Detroit's expansion team. The Detroit WNBA ownership group is led by Tom Gores, his wife Holly, and some of the most accomplished women and men in global sports, business, entertainment, media, and finance. Gores is owner of the Detroit Pistons and chairman and CEO of global investment firm Platinum Equity. The WNBA is also making its return to Detroit, where the Shock played from 1998 to 2009, winning 3 championships, 03, 06, and 08, ranking in the top 5 in attendance for 5 consecutive seasons and setting a single game attendance record of 22,076 fans at Game 3 of the 2003 WNBA Finals. Quote, and again, this is a statement I read earlier, so I apologize. This is a huge win for Detroit and the WNBA, said Detroit Pistons owner and Platinum Equity chairman Tom Gores, who led the WNBA bid, will be controlling owner of the new franchise. Today marks the long hoped for return of the WNBA to a city with deep basketball roots and a championship tradition. Detroit played a key role in the league's early growth, and we're proud to reignite that legacy as the WNBA ascends to new heights. Our plans will bring new energy, investment, and infrastructure to our city and the WNBA, and additional resources to our community. We have brought together an impressive array of investors who reflect the strength and diversity of Detroit, added Gores. I'm excited about what we can accomplish together to advance women's professional sports and inspire a new generation of fans. I'm grateful to our exceptional investor group, Commissioner Engelbert, and the WNBA for their trust in our vision and commitment to the people of Detroit. And so obviously, again, a lot of things are going to have to come into place. This is quite literally just the beginning of the organization, just the beginning of the franchise. But the most important note and thing of this all is that in about 4 years' time from now, we are going to be about a month or two into the first season of women's basketball in the city of Detroit in 20 years. And that is a damn good thing to feel. I hope to be there to cover that first game whenever that day comes. Be sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because now not only are we going to be covering Detroit basketball as far as the Pistons are concerned, we're going to be covering the Detroit Shock here too. So be sure you're subscribed. Thank you for tuning in. The WNBA is officially back, and perhaps so are the Detroit Shock. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time from Half Court, and be sure you're subscribed.